created this case study, a fictitious hospital. This is just done with data. With over 1 million rows, I created this data to try and actually explain the importance of data analytics in your setup. So let's see what was actually being extracted. In the health sector, there are some of the questions that affect your bottom line, and we need to ask these questions, and we need to actually create analysis to answer these questions. Which diseases are predominant by age group? I'll give you an example. Even when you look at car accidents, and you are trying at a hospital, you will know that if someone was involved in a road accident, it should not end there. You should move on to know which car. So to show, yes, there was a road RTA, like you call it RTA, which car, what? You will realize that there could be certain cars that have been poorly designed, like Alteza, which all of a sudden it just jumps and flies. It's an airplane on the road. So then you start asking yourself, okay, this is Alteza, but what is the age group? Are they drunk or not drunk? So that is a lot of hidden data that you are uncovering. And that could even change the policy. Because once that information is there, the government, through cabinet, can actually enact a law. And maybe say, for any Altezas that have been imported into this country, will actually come at 90,000 kwacha as what those fees that we pay as NRA. Then what does it mean? Indirectly, the government is saying, you should not buy this car. They are not buying it, but they're actually putting a huge premium. So that if you get this money to pay ZRA plus whatever, you can even buy a Lamborghini. So why should you go for an Alteza? But this, which diseases are predominant by age group, which disease was more recorded at our hospital, we need to know. Because if all these years, we have actually had malaria as the highest killer and maybe the most recorded disease, then later on we find there's this strange disease which has become the highest. The reason is why. What was our service level satisfaction rate? These clients, these patients that are coming to our hospitals, they are our clients and they have to be treated as such. And we need to know if they are actually satisfied from the services that we are giving them. What is the average treatment cost? We just administer Panadol, Piriton, what? We need to know the cost. Because the moment we know the cost, we actually know the gap, the funding gap between how much we are actually spending. Not all diseases will cost the same. We should be able to even cost the area in which, if someone is actually spending a night there, even for 10 days, we need to know every day how much cost is it for this space that we're giving this person. You can still benchmark with one of the useless lodges around, around in the town, and you benchmark and say, suppose it was this cost. So how much are we losing from this? The nurses that are coming here, they are actually paid, say, 5,000 kwacha or 10,000 or 15,000 kwacha per month, divided by the number of customers they have been handling. This is the cost we are portioning to this particular patient. These are the medicines, the cost on all these medicines and whatever. Then we know that on average in Kaputa, on average the money, what we are actually spending on a patient is slightly higher than what is being spent, for example, in Mpika. Then you have a case to change the policy as a government, as health people, to know that even when you are creating a budget, they shall not have the same amounts. Even if the hospitals look almost the same, the cost will be different because it's driven by different activities. Which doctor contributed to more deaths? So they should not just trouble you on interest. You should also, when you do this analysis in a Monday meeting, because I'm assuming that all meetings are always on Monday, on a Monday meeting, and you are actually projecting and showing all this data analytics in dashboards and whatever, then this doctor realizes that month by month, he is the one who is contributing to more deaths. You will keep quiet. You will stop troubling me about interest. But that also changes the way now it starts behaving going forward. And this is what we need. If we succeed in our hospitals, we actually even improve, we make the lives of all Zambians better. And this is the whole issue about data analysis. Where now you actually put it, like I did, you create heat maps based on the diseases that you have and based on the age groups. I've put the age groups here and the diseases. So when you see red, you realize that this age group from 0 to 3 years, they are actually, I don't know how you pronounce this, neonatal or whatever disorders. So you know that they are dying from this, or the diseases. Basically, it's not mortality, but it's just about the diseases. Then you also know that those that are from 26 to 35, they have cardio problems. You know, for those that are from above 65, somewhere there, you can see a lot of problems there. Diabetes, name them. When you look at road accidents, you can see that road accidents is for this age group from 16 to 25 because they are excited naturally. They are so hyper. They are so full of life. So even when they are driving, they don't drive because there's nothing in their mind. They drive at 150, 160 and intoxicated with beer and with all the people around them. So you are able to see this thing. So these are the analyses that we want to start seeing in our hospitals, done by you, unfortunately. This dashboard, I'm just trying to show the tiers of cases. So you're actually able to see that diabetes is actually higher and more predominant than any other disease in there. So you do these things per hospital. So for Dixon, who is at provincial level, can collect all this data for the province, clinics and what, and just, if he wants to check on a particular clinic, just double clicks there, he sees all these things. Cases by age group. But if he sees now there's something that has gone outside the trend, then he should actually worry and make it as an alarm for decision making. You can then now look at satisfaction rate. Like in this case, you know that 73%, these are positive feedback. Your clients are happy with what you are doing. Who are your patients? So you create all these things. And the patients, as they leave, they sign a form just to rate you, to grade you. Like I will be graded in here. I'll be graded. And this is what we all have to be subjected, we all have to be accountable to things that we do. And that helps us to improve and improve the well-being of the society as a whole. So you're able to do all these dashboards very easy. Average treatment cost by age group. So you realize that even by age group, the treatment cost is different. You will know that if you are treating someone who is over 70, because at over 70, I'm telling you that now at that time, you have already lost meaning about life. You have lost interest in earthly things. So it's costly. Where you start seeing a hospital which is actually admitting so many of old people, you will know that it's going to be more costly than a hospital that is admitting younger people. So all these things, you have to look at them. So you need to ask yourself, which age group costs the highest? So from the data that you have, you need to be able to compute that. Here, you are actually looking at, this is basically talent performance. You are trying to measure the performance of your doctors, of your pharmacists, whatever, all these other key people. Here, for example, we are actually showing the death rates. Which doctor administered the most death rate? And in this case, we know it was Dr. Mlenga. But if this is consistent, if it is consistent, what does it mean about Dr. Mlenga? Dr. Mlenga then, it could actually mean that he needs to go for the training. He should maybe specialize, or he's been given patients who have complicated diseases, or patients who are about to die, and those are the patients that you are giving to Dr. Mnenga. So you need to look at all this analysis. For example, on a death, you map it for the whole year. You check when are people dying the most. So you will see from this graph, it shows that before December, somewhere in December, a lot of people are getting discharged. Around December, close to January, before New Year, a lot of people get discharged, and this is true from the data that I was collecting. Why? People have refused to die on Christmas. People have refused to die on New Year. And they always say, at least Nafikako. And this is a patient, imagine. Then after, in January now, you see it spiking, then start going down in February. That is when they die most, just after they have celebrated New Year. It's just psychological. I don't know for some reason. This is why I find even people don't die on weekends. A lot of people, just check on your hospital record, do your analysis. Why? People have refused to give up on a weekend. People have refused to give up on a Christmas day. You don't want to die on Christmas, even you don't. But after New Year, you can say, no, now I can die. So this is the data. So you're actually looking at all these things and trying to prove that sometimes death is just psychological. But you can only do this if you have the data and you understand data analytics. And this is why you need this course more than what you're doing now. Thank you so much. I think so. Thank you so much.